morning. It's December 12th, 2020. It's been an entire month since the last episode of Rock Hard Caucus was released, but we're back.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, not long enough if you ask me.
I guess we missed a holiday. I stayed up a little bit too late playing Super Mario Odyssey, and I slept like shit, so I'm pretty tired, so apologies if I'm a little bit low energy today.
I
still need to finish Super Mario Odyssey. Like, I bought the, the pack of 3 games where it comes with that, and it comes with, wait, no, that's Galaxy. I do have a copy of Odyssey, though, that I haven't quite finished yet. I like to do this thing where I buy, like, $300 worth of games at a time, and then I never play them ever.
Yeah.
I just end up scrolling Twitter instead, and, like,
I do that, but I just
about farts
pirate
in the
them.
DM.
Mm-hmm.
I pirate them, so it's a lot better. I never have to play them.
Yeah, I'm borrowing it from Ashley's brother, so I'm probably just going to binge it for another week and then give it back to him.
Yeah, I didn't sleep very well either myself. My cat kept waking me up all night. Like, he likes to get up on my dresser and, like, beat at the blinds and, like, rattle them and meow. And then he'll get up and get behind the TV on the other dresser and he'll meow. And then he'll hide behind it so I can't get him and make noise.
Ugh.
I keep a squirt bottle by my bed so I can just, like, shoot him off of there whenever he's up there because I don't have to get up. And he can, like, hear me picking it up now, and he, like, will stop doing what he's doing because he's pretty smart, I guess. But so I've decided that anytime I see him around the house sleeping today, I'm going to wake him up as revenge.
One of our cats is a little bit like that, and I've tried that, but it doesn't really change her behavior at all.
Yeah, I woke up
It's
to
more
a
an
big
immediate fix.
cat puke on my. I fed the cats, and then one of my cats likes to, like, binge and purge, I guess.
Yeah, me too. I got one of those little puke factory.
Yeah, she just eats way too much, like, immediately when I feed her, and then just, like, pukes like 30 seconds later, and then tries to, like, eat most
they
of
would
it back
learn
up
after a
She's
while.
disgusting.
Like,
She's
you
truly
really
foul.
think they would learn? I feed my cats at the same time every day when I get home from work, because, like, 2 of them are supposed to be on a diet. One of them's pretty chunky, but the other one's just, like, a big fucking cat. Like, when we took him in, the doctor was like, oh, yeah, your cat's overweight, he's 22 pounds. And I'm like, he's fucking, like, 4 feet tall when he stands up. Like, of course he weighs 22 pounds. He's bigger than, like, a schnauzer. Like, he's the size of a fucking adolescent golden retriever. Like I can see his hips and shit. Like, he's not... Like, he's not fat, he's a large boy, which is very nice to have, like, walk across your face in the middle of the night while you're trying to sleep. It, like, knocks the wind out of you.
Anyway, this is Rock Hard Caucus. It's Iowa's favorite podcast, Iowa's only podcast. We're here to talk about the winners and losers in politics.
Yes.
My name is Justin. I host and produce the show. And I've got the 3 other founders of the show here today. We've got Natalie.
Hey.
Welcome back. We've got Evan.
Yo, what up? I'm still here.
Welcome back also. I mean,
Happy to be back, yeah.
We've all been on a break,
I've missed
so
it.
it's welcome back to all of us. And, of course, we've got Chuck.
Hello.
Welcome back to Chuck also.
Yeah, thanks.
So what did we miss? What happened in our absence? Anybody see anything? I've been kind of out of it. Any politics news?
No, basically nothing has happened.
Our big wet president is having a lot of fun on his way out the door.
Absolutely.
The law and order president is now turning against the courts, which is very funny to me.
Yeah. You know, I've been waiting, like, for Trump's first his candidacy and then his presidency, waiting for the moment where there's, like, a split where, like, people are like, oh, wait, like, this shit is, like the point where he crosses the line where he loses people. And I think, like, it took him losing the election. Like, I was so optimistic that it would happen, like, early on in his presidency, and it never did. And now it's, like...
Yeah.
Now that he lost, like, there's an actual cleave. It's like only 24% of Republicans think that
Holy shit.
the election results are valid, but, like,
yeah,
that's enough,
So as you were saying that, my phone started ringing and I put it on silent, and you know how there's, like, a preview of, like, who's calling you and, like, where it's from if you have... I know Android at least does that, but it just says... U.S. Gov calling from Austin, Texas.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's probably Alan West. I was just gonna bring that up.
Oh no!
So Texas might be seceding. I mean, they're not going to, but the Texas GOP chairman, Alan West, if you guys are familiar with that guy.
Wow, what a segue. Nice job.
He's calling on I forget the phrasing he used, but people who agree that the election was stolen to
Real patriots, I think, is the phrase.
Yeah.
To break off into their own, what do we call them? A confederacy of dissenting voices.
I've also been a little out of the loop myself. I've been working a bunch, and then when I'm not, I'm just like doom scrolling on Twitter, which there's not many politics on my feed if you know me very well. Anytime anything important gets talked about in our DM either, I never look at it. I just come in at the end of the day to here, look at this picture of something horrible.
Everyone else at least familiarizes themselves with the last couple posts in the DM.
Just kicking the door.
Just here's something disgusting, guys.
Yeah, I'm on my lunch break right now. Look at this thing that I saw. The idea of a state seceding because of President Deals from New York losing, especially a state like Texas, is extremely funny to me. I know that we've talked about this numerous times, maybe not on the show, but I know just amongst ourselves about how funny it is that this fucking private school blue blood rich boy narcissist fuck who's a coastal elite has become so beloved by people in states like Texas that consider themselves very rough and tumble, blue collar, fuck your feelings, blah 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 kind of people. And the fact that they're yes, secession is in progress because he lost is just. I would never have dreamed this was going to happen. A few days before the election, I was yeah, Trump's going to win, blah blah blah. But I never saw it going to this level, even though it's not going to happen, it's still extremely funny to think about.
Yeah, and Texas has sort of softly threatened to secede many times in the past.
Yeah.
But, with Alan West at the helm, I think they've got a real shot this time. That guy's a real winner.
I don't trust any men named Alan.
He does spell it Allen, if that makes a difference.
Oh, that's actually worse.
Yeah, like a wrench.
Well, while we're talking about elections, I do have a piece here that ran in the Des Moines Register a few days ago, if we want to get back to basics on the show, where I just read articles.
Has anyone ever figured out how to successfully get around the Des Moines Register paywall? Actually, if you're listening to this and you know a way to get around the Des Moines Register paywall, hit us up.
Yes, please.
Please do, because I open up.
We could
browsing and I try everything.
Yeah, you disable JavaScript.
Yeah,
that works on a lot of sites.
The New York Times is so easy to get around. But
we could use our Patreon money to just buy a subscription, but that would require giving money to them.
Right.
They're on my damn media. I have a vendetta against.
Yeah.
The one thing we won't do is pay them.
I'd rather die.
I'd literally rather kill myself.
But they do have some good reporters, also.
But it's the principle of the thing.
We could pay the reporters directly. Maybe we could pay them to use their account.
Yeah.
Or maybe they could get us discounted.
Yeah, the one guy that we've talked to isn't employed by them anymore.
That's true.
Maybe he has an account, though.
Yeah.
Maybe we can leech off of Aaron.
Account, yeah.
Okay, so this comes from somebody, this is an Iowa View contributor by the name of Terry Branstad. Anyone familiar?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, so anyone maybe outside of Iowa who's not familiar with our state government history, Terry Branstad was the governor of this state twice, very recently, the second time.
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a president or governor forever from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And then there was 2 Democratic governors, and then he went back.
Mm-hmm. I believe the longest tenure of an Iowa governor ever.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Trump sent him to China, and he left the seat for Kim Reynolds. So he wrote a piece for the Des Moines Register the other day, which is called Iowans, not Nancy Pelosi, should decide the winners of Iowa elections.
Okay. I bet this is going to be very interesting.
This sounds like a reasonable person making
Yeah.
a reasonable point.
Yeah, so is anyone aware of the efforts of Nancy Pelosi to throw the elections here in Iowa? It's been happening.
Well, I mean, the Rita Hart campaign appealed to the House of Representatives directly.
Yep, you got it.
To get their election results reviewed, which is interesting considering that Nancy Pelosi does currently control the House. But
yes, Evan has successfully guessed the topic of Terry Branstad's little editorial here. I'll just start reading his words. As Iowans, we are rightfully proud of our election system.
Why would we be proud of this? It was just this year the Iowa caucus is
well, that's the
Iowa
Democrats.
caucus feels like a fucking lifetime
That's
ago.
the Democrats. I mean, granted, we do have same-day registration. They didn't pass voter ID until like a couple years ago. But yeah.
Yeah. We do have voter ID, though.
We do.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got one sentence in. I already disagree with the premise here. Many of the problems that plague other states are not seen here.
Yeah, things are good here.
Yeah.
I mean, they counted them ballots faster than a lot of places, so I'm just sticking up for Iowa here. I'm sorry.
counting the ballots where they're stacking the ballots.
They did their job. They counted those fucking ballots. Delivered the victory to Donald Trump.
Everyone may be dead here from the virus and our hospitals are full.
Yeah.
But God damn it, didn't count those fucking ballots.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easier to count the votes if most of your population dies before the election.
That's right.
Our elections are open, transparent, and fair, encouraging Iowans to be civic-minded and have a basic level of trust in their elected officials. Felons still can't vote, right? That hasn't been...
No, not in Iowa.
It's going to happen, but they could not know.
This year, reflecting their confidence in our system, Iowans turned out in record numbers to let their voices be heard. As someone who knows firsthand what it is like to have your name on the ballot, I know that once the votes have been counted and the election certified, you're ready to get to work.
What a hard job.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it.
I just look at Kim Reynolds and I think, wow, this must really suck to be Kim Reynolds.
We've tried nothing and we're out of ideas. I like how, things are worse right now than they were back in, March when people were, sanitizing their groceries and, everything was closed.
Mm-hmm.
But, nothing's really changed that. It's there's fewer precautions in place now than there was back then, even though we're doing 9/11 to ourselves every day.
Yeah, we just pretend it's not happening. We've completely, normalized death.
That's what I'm saying. You got to congratulate Kim Reynolds for her work on reopening the economy.
Yeah. And the thing, too, is, it's almost, obviously COVID it's fatal. It has long-lasting effects to people that get it a lot of the time. But even if, you end up just getting sort of a mild case of it or whatever, I don't think a lot of people understand that, that person can't go to work for 2 weeks. And, that's 2 weeks of lost wages if they're working hourly, especially.
That's also hypothetically that they even take 2 weeks off.
Well, yeah, exactly. So it's
yeah.
I don't know. If people saying, it's just a flu, it's not a fucking big deal. It's a big fucking deal to, if you go into someone's, workplace as a laughing, joking numbnuts that doesn't feel like they need to wear a mask.
Right.
You happen to get an employee there sick.
But I think the bigger point is that Republicans getting elected to Congress is more important than any of this shit.
I agree. Yes, I agree completely. And that's not ironic. I truly believe that.
Yeah, actually, in the month we took off of the show, we all changed our voter registration.
Yes.
We're Republicans now.
The Iowa Caucus really left a thorn on our side, and it never healed, and now it's festering over.
We've decided it's actually more realistic to push the Republicans to the left.
Yes. It's a strange form of accelerationism. We'll explain more in the next episode.
Though.
I hope it isn't true, but yeah, it could be true in the near future.
Hey, what if we combine nationalist politics with a little bit of leftist economics?
Yeah.
No one's ever done that before.
But only leftist economics, but
idea.
only for white people.
But
only for white people.
We could call it some kind of like national socialism.
Yeah, now you're thinking. I like that idea.
Yeah,
Let me just Google that real quick.
If someone puts that shit together, we're done.
Yeah, we just need a very charismatic leader to.
Please put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, Trump was like is dipping his toes in it, but as soon as a skilled leader is like decides to start cutting checks to white people, it's not good.
This is sounding better and better, actually.
Hey, I'm white.
Yeah, I check all those boxes.
Like socialism, but it was like really nationalist, and we could call it like the National Socialist Party. I think that has really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, it'll just be them just giving money to like rural states and shit.
Yeah.
Again, that's
in particular,
us. That checks another box.
That's true, but we're in they'll only give it to like counties that went Republican, and then it'll be up to like the people in those counties to distribute the money as they see fit.
Us big city slickers don't get none of that money.
Yeah.
Well, all that money is going to go to car dealerships then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of National Socialism though, so there's a bill in the Senate that Bernie is pushing to send checks to people, and it's co-sponsored by Josh Hawley.
Yep.
So
that's true.
It seems like there really is sort of a red-brown alliance going on in the Senate. Do better, Bernie.
Populism is bad.
See, this is what would have happened. There's no way that Biden would ever work with any Republicans at all, and Bernie's doing it without even being president, so just imagine if he'd won.
Bernie is doing fascism.
Yeah, he is. He's doing the fun kind of fascism, though, where you get money.
God, I don't know. I mean, I think, honestly, if Bernie became president, there would be a certain number of Republicans who would actually be on board with a lot of what he was doing. And it might actually change. It might actually change the tune of some of those GOP lawmakers if that's what they're hearing. So
I think they would realize that it would serve the interests of their constituents within whatever state they're representing. Like by and large, like people would support it without like they would see it more as an expansion of what people already have, rather than some sort of system being unplugged and you're plugging something back in, which I think is what people.
Yeah,
it's scary to people,
but no, we can't have that. Sorry,
no. We get President Applesauce Brains, and then the cop lady that we all fucking bullied right out of the fucking primary within like 2 weeks back in
we
February.
Iowans soundly rejected.
I'm gonna bring us back home again. Okay, all right. This is Terry Branstad again, in case you forgot what we're reading. We are fresh off another election season, and the newly elected officials are ready to get to work. But there is one race in Iowa that still occupies headlines. And I'll note that they break here in the Des Moines Register with a link to Democratic View, an article called Take the Time to Count Each Vote in Iowa's Second. So they've got both sides represented here in the Des Moines Register.
Good. Perfect.
So it's paid. It's like PAC money, I assume.
Or
is that an ad? I'm sorry.
No. It's just a link to another one of their opinion pieces.
I thought it was like an ad for like some Democratic group saying like count the vote.
No, it's just they've got both sides represented here in their opinion section. They want to make sure you read both sides. I'm not going to read the other one. Boring.
Of course, that's not as interesting.
On election night, in the congressional race to represent Southeast Iowa, Marionette Miller Meeks narrowly prevailed. It was a close race, and after a canvass, Miller Meeks' opponent asked for a recount across all 24 counties in the district. Miller Meeks prevailed again. After the Election Day victory, the initial canvass, and the district-wide recount, a unanimous vote by the bipartisan state canvassing board certified Miller Meeks as the winner.
Can't argue with them there.
Didn't she win by like 6 votes?
Yes.
After the recount, yeah.
Yeah, the final count had Marionette Miller Meeks winning by 6, which is the closest.
God damn.
Yeah, the closest race, I think, in the whole country in, like, I don't remember the numbers, but at least like 50 years.
Our podcast very well may have discouraged at least 6 people from voting for Rita Hart.
Yeah, baby. We're doing voter suppression.
That's what I like to imagine, at least.
Yeah, when they had done like the first recount and they were still apart by like, I don't know, 30 votes or something, I had that thought. I was like,
yeah,
you know,
I'm not taking credit, but
I bet we have more than 30 listeners in the 2nd district. And I did do a whole episode about how Rita Hart sucks. So
yep,
that's true. Oh, well.
Listen to all her ads.
Democrats, it's time to listen to me.
Write an editorial. Democrats.
I can throw the election.
Rock hard caucus.
Democrats, it's time for you to buy me
Bring
Cyberpunk.
unity together.
Yeah.
whirling towards freedom.
I mean, I can do this again next time. If you don't run the candidates that I like, I'm going to convince 20 to 30 people not to vote for them. That will throw the whole thing. You got a razor-thin margin here. You don't want to test fate. But instead of accepting the will of Iowans through our trusted process, former state senator Rita Hart claims mysteriously that there are, quote, more votes to be counted. She says this despite the fact that every vote has already been counted once on Election Day and again by bipartisan recount boards in each of the 24 counties. Every legal vote has been examined and counted, twice. Hart lost, fair and square.
It sounds familiar.
Are you guys seeing any kind of parallels?
Yeah, there might be some sort of parallel here.
Oh, not me.
But I guess they didn't count the votes twice. I mean, wait, never mind. They did.
One thing that comes to mind here is that, so each of these counts came up with different results. Marionette Miller Meek still won each time, but the numbers changed each time. So it's like he's trying to put this out there like, we know exactly how many votes there are for each candidate, and we've counted them twice. But if you get different numbers each time, it's like,
Yeah.
obviously it's not like that cut and dry.
Well, yeah. Well, there is statistics that show, or like results that showed that there is like 70 some people who like voted for both of them.
Right.
And like,
I love America
just a bunch of like, you know.
so much.
I mean, I can understand why the vote counts change, and like that's been the case in like other states counting the presidential results. You know, like Trump spent like $3 million in Wisconsin and like lost 130 votes, or you know, Biden gained 130.
Right.
Like it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that's just how it goes. But like
Yeah.
he's presenting it as if it's like, yep, we've got a big stack of Rita Hart votes. We got a big
one number,
stack.
and then we got the same number. I'd do the same goddamn thing. I'd make him recount it as many times as possible.
Yeah.
How about a Twitch stream where
Yes, I
he
like that.
himself counts all of them?
Yeah, and then plays Among Us with AOC.
It's just like weeks long Twitch stream. He's got like the whiteboard behind him and he tallies off the votes.
He's got a Cookie Monster hat on.
I would love to see Terry Branstad play any kind of video game.
What does he look like now? Does he look like fucking shit? I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, he looks like a Titanic Adventure Out of Time kind of guy to me.
Greatest PC adventure game ever made.
Oh yeah.
Just saying it right now.
Shit.
You can buy it on Steam now. I just figured that out. But I have the disc, no worries. Both discs, because one of them is a tour of the ship.
Oh,
there's
nice.
the game, and then there's the tour with all the shit.
Or one of the various classic putt-putt titles as well.
You want to see Terry Branstad play those?
Yes.
I'll see what I can do.
Maybe putt-putt joins the circus.
Natalie, how would you describe Terry Branstad's physical appearance since you just looked it up?
I just can't stop thinking of his like just nasty mustache face, like what he would say to you while he was fucking you. I just
Ugh.
a mustache on your ear from behind, or whispering something about daddy.
Ugh.
Wow. He's someone who was like really wanted to make you clear that they love eating pussy and they're so at it.
I was about to make a very
What's wrong with
graphic
that?
joke about that, but maybe I'll pass on that.
Like he has this like intensely manicured mustache, and I bet he's just
Yeah.
horrific at
Ugh.
eating pussy and insists on doing it to you no matter how uncomfortable it makes you. You like that, don't you?
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, that's what I think about it.
We've touched on some interesting stuff in this episode so far.
I've made some good points. We can go back to his editorial, but
Sure.
I do think he's the man who prides himself on his absolutely horrific, wet, disgusting pussy eating. And
Ugh.
Well,
just slobbering around down there and then insisting that he has, like, made you come back.
Just slobbing on everything in sight, like no tact whatsoever. Just like...
And it just creates the cycle again because you're like, yeah, that was great. I feel so satisfied because he wanted to stop. And then he's like, yeah, I did great. I'm going to do that again forever to everyone.
Yeah. Every single time.
This is starting to seem very personal to you, Natalie.
Yeah.
I need to record with Stella before so I can get these thoughts out.
You're being very unfair to men, I think, though, actually, Natalie. So I'm not laughing anymore.
Okay, let's take Terry seriously again. Let's read
I
some
don't
of
think
his...
I'll ever be able to.
Yeah, that's gonna change my perception of him.
Just like glazed donut looking whiskers when he's done.
I can picture it.
Iowa law gives
All
candidates... Iowa law gives candidates one last avenue to challenge an election. If Hart believed that the recount excluded ballots that should have been counted, she could have raised those issues with Iowa's neutral judges through a judicial election contest. Who appointed those judges, Terry?
A neutral party.
Yeah.
Which definitely exists in an election.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if any of those judges might have... Actually, the governor appoints judges in Iowa, right? I guess I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a simpleton.
I wonder how many judges Terry Branstad may have appointed during his tenures from 1983 to 1999, and then from 2011 to 2017.
God, that's fucking crazy to think about, isn't it? And I love that, like, if you've appointed the judges, you can, like, go and be sanctimonious about, like, well, we need to let the neutral arbiters of the law decide this.
Well, the judiciary is good now because Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh voted against that Texas lawsuit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah. And all of
Which
the
is
Trump
funny to me.
appointees have been shooting down his lawsuits, too.
Which is so
actually,
fucking funny to me.
they have integrity.
They are neutral.
Yeah.
I'm not giving these people any credit whatsoever, but it's so fucking funny to me to see these people that he like shoehorned into these positions, thinking they would just do his bidding.
Yeah.
Just being like,
Yeah.
nah.
They
like,
still have to
how
consider
about you
their
chill out, dude?
careers. Like,
Yes, exactly.
And it turns out they actually only cared about abortion and union busting and never
Yeah.
about him. And
Right,
he didn't
right.
get that.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Trump was a means to an end for those people. Like,
Exactly.
get the
Yeah.
court, solidify our majority in the court. We can do whatever we want for like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the hyenas mauling Scar at the end of Lion King, except they're still hyenas at the end, and they're going to keep mauling other people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he like truly believed like these are my people.
Yeah,
Like
they're loyal
they're
to
here
me.
to defend me, and he fucked
They're
around
nothing
and found
without
out.
me. Yeah,
He
thinks
did.
Yeah, where would you be without me? You're nothing without me. What are you doing? Like, fuck off.
But Hart didn't trust Iowa's process. Rather, she skipped over Iowa's impartial judiciary and picked a Washington, D.C. political process.
Mm. I mean, that's our nation's capital and all of that, but we don't want any political processes happening there.
She says she is going to contest the election results in the U.S. House of Representatives. Instead of a panel of Iowa judges hearing her case, she will present it to a partisan committee.
Yay.
Non-partisan judges, because judges are not. If we could get this scam out of our motherfucking head, because only one side believes it, and that's the fucking
Right.
moron.
The Democrats will gladly lose this election if it means that they look like they're being the bigger person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if
like,
I mean, they've obviously recounted it, or like every count, she's been ahead. So, like, I don't think there's any way that Rita Hart actually ends up winning.
No, I don't think they're
they
going
just
to flip
love a moral victory, and they just love being the ones who put impartiality above all else.
Yeah, I mean, they counted the votes for Trump, so, I mean, they counted the votes. Sounds like she lost.
Motherfuckers, what? Like, your job is to cheat. Why are you not cheating for us?
Yeah, because getting Rita Hart into Congress would be like such a big win for us.
it. Yeah, that's why I definitely voted for her.
Yeah. Whoops. You're one of the 6 people this podcast influenced.
This is not the rule of law. It is the rule of power. That's pretty badass, Terry. I'm going to
I
steal
think
that.
so too.
If Nancy Pelosi wants to shove aside the person elected by Iowans, she can do it. Okay, but she's not going to. This is wrong, and Iowans should say so. They should tell Hart and Pelosi that we elect our own leaders. A California politician should not be allowed to select who represents us. All Iowans, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents should reject Rita Hart's political power move. She should accept defeat, and if she wishes, run again in 2 years. That is what Iowans deserve.
Yeah, we deserve a lot.
Like, yeah,
A lot of things, really.
Maybe like Marionette Miller Meeks, if she just keeps running, eventually she'll win.
Yes.
We deserve Rita Hart running over and over and over again.
Oh, man. Surely there is no better candidate for Iowa's 2nd district.
And that's how he ended it. I don't know exactly what he's calling for there. He says that Iowans should all reject Rita Hart's political power move, but I'm not sure how do we do that.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Terry. Interesting.
You go outside and say, I reject it.
Call Nancy Pelosi's office.
Yes.
I want to be on record right now that I reject Rita Hart's power move.
Yeah.
I'm done now.
I think
right?
the whole podcast.
We do have a platform, so I guess we can do
that's
that.
true.
Yeah. I'm going to steal from Stella's Twitter and say that there is one way that Rita Hart could be elected to Congress.
How's that?
Well, if you've noticed, Rita Hart and Marionette Miller Meeks look very similar.
Ah, of course. Brilliant.
So I think if Rita just shows up, no one's going to know. Nobody else in Congress knows who either of them are, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
Or maybe there could be
highly
like
doubt it.
a Freaky Friday situation. Because functionally, what's the difference between Marionette Miller Meeks? I mean, I guess Marionette Miller Meeks is more, friendly to white supremacists, which is bad. But I'm sure that Rita Hart could pass as as fucking Marionette Miller Meeks if she were to somehow eat a magical fortune cookie that caused him to switch bodies.
They look the fuck insane. I could not pick. Well, I couldn't pick either of them out of the lineup, but I couldn't tell you the difference between the two of them either.
They've got a different smile, but they are very similar looking people. And I wish Rita Hart the best in her schemes, whether they be convincing Nancy Pelosi to steal the election for her or just impersonating her opponent.
So you're saying all white women look alike, or what, dude?
I think is that... Can I get in trouble for that, or...
No. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait and see what happens after we publish this episode.
Yeah, I'm not going to cut it, so we'll see.
Okay, good.
Tweet at us if you're offended, especially on my behalf.
Yes, email Justin if you're offended, please.
Natalie does feel bullied and silenced whenever we talk about white women on here. She's very personally offended.
Yeah, same as the three of us get offended whenever white males are getting bagged on.
That's right, yeah.
That's a very normal thing to do.
I'm gonna say white males are basically better than white females.
I don't know
some
about
say,
that.
Some say we've had it too good for too long, but I don't think so.
Team white women is not knocking out of the park lately.
No, y'all are taking some L's right now. They're stacking up.
Women posting their L's.
That fucking account. That dude that runs the account, a little while ago, people were making fun of him because he posted something. He's like, "Oh, I need a new couch for my apartment. Can you guys please give me money for it?"
Jesus. That's a man posting his L online for sure.
Yeah.
You don't GoFundMe for a couch, bro. That's fucked up.
You go fund me for cancer treatment, god damn it.
Yeah.
Like a normal person.
Or for just food to eat,
Yeah. This account I have where I make
Housing.
fun of women for broadcasting, being honest about things that may have happened to them. I need a couch.
Yes. Yeah, I need a place so I can sit for 10 hours a day playing whatever Cyberpunk 20
Yeah, my account
million.
where I bully women, I'm using it as a platform to raise money, actually, for myself.
I'm giving it to a good cause. If I have a woman over, she'll have a couch to sit on.
And that's one less elf for her to post about and potentially get made fun of by me.
All right, I've got one more kind of topic that we can cover today, and I think we'll get enough out of this to finish the episode. This is kind of what drew me out of the fog and convinced me that I was able to do a podcast again. You guys remember Jerry Foxhoven?
Man.
Yes.
Mystery man, Jerry Foxhoven.
I never stopped thinking about Jerry Foxhoven.
He's the Tupac guy.
He is the Tupac guy.
Yep. The only Iowa government official who has been interviewed by Pitchfork.
That's right.
Unreal.
I would assume, at least.
He's a dorky looking, middle-aged white man, but he likes a rap artist.
Amazing.
Isn't that ironic?
That's why they fired him.
Whoa.
Can you believe it?
There's layers to this man.
For his love of Tupac and not the experiments he did on people that were incapacitated.
Well, I have my own theory about that. I think we'll get to it, though.
Yeah, we can get to that. But first, I have something written by the man himself. I don't think we've ever talked about Bleeding Heartland on the podcast.
We have, actually.
Oh, have we?
I think that it's come up a couple of times, but we haven't really gone into depth about it.
I think we've cited them, yeah.
Yeah, because I've never...
times,
I don't know much about them, but I know that they've come up on here.
This
is the first I'd heard of them.
They do some good stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not like 100% burn it to the ground opposed, but
right.
I'm not a big fan.
No, yeah, they're... yeah. Cornball.
Stacey Walker has written some stuff for them, so, credit for that. Stacey's cool.
Irksome.
Yeah.
Irksome, yes.
Yeah, so Bleeding Heartland, it's a blog by Laura Bellin. Is that how you say her last name?
Bellend? Laura Bellend? Is that her last name?
It's Belin.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think you got it.
And it's, generally liberal. Kind of a local Daily Kos or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. That's accurate.
Well, they had a guest piece from Jerry Foxhoven, and it's called... Hold on, I want to delay the title a little bit because it's just so funny.
Okay.
This came out on Monday, November 30th, 2020. It has one comment on it on the blog site here. And the title is, I am pro-life. That's why I'm a Democrat.
Nice. Okay.
Wow.
I'm sure this is some sort of clever euphemism or something, right?
No one has ever tried to rebrand pro-life before into something more palatable.
Yeah, this is kind of a genre. Natalie, you have any opinions on the the words here?
I'm so fucking tired of, just stop pointing out the hypocrisy. Everyone knows they don't give a shit about anyone. You don't need to keep pointing out that they don't care about feeding kids. Just stop it. Stop. I'm so tired of being like,
yeah, that's
not
not gonna
over. It's so long ago that
you're not convincing anyone with that.
Jerry Foxhoven is an attorney, former law professor, and child advocate.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
A child advocate?
Child advocate, yes.
It sounds like a title from like a Cumtown bit or something.
He has spent his career celebrating diversity and inclusion and working to bring justice to Iowa's most vulnerable citizens.
That's good. That's very noble of him.
Yeah. Do they even mention his term as Department of Human Services?
Not in that brief little biographical thing. No.
Nobly privatizing Medicaid.
That must have been when he was advocating children.
I guess Department of Human Services, that sounds gross too. That sounds almost worse than child advocate.
Servicing humans.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the director of the human service.
Well, here's what he has to say about his pro-life Democrat existence. Republicans claim a monopoly on being, quote, pro-life, based solely on each party's stand on abortion. Being pro-life means more than controlling a woman's options on abortion and family planning. Governing in a way that is pro-life does not stop at the time of birth, but continues throughout life. Pro-life means respecting all lives, regardless of age, religion, gender, income, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, physical or mental challenges, and even political beliefs. It means respecting the differences between all of us and recognizing that everyone is entitled to recognition of their inherent dignity and worth.
False.
Interesting.
I don't believe that at all. I think some people do not have inherent dignity and worth.
Yeah, I mean, he did include even political beliefs in his, list of discrimination vectors.
Vectors.
Vectors of discrimination. Like, I guess it is kind of like a disease.
When the term pro-life is given its full meaning, I am pro-life, and I am proud to belong to the party that encompasses the full meaning of that term. What's he going to say?
Oh, my God.
The Democratic Party.
Democratic Party? Oh, really?
Wow.
Nice. The horseshoe theory is real.
As Robert F. Kennedy said.
Hell yeah. I like that guy.
It writes itself.
We must recognize the full human equality of all of our people before God, before the law, and in the councils of government. We must do this not because it is economically advantageous, although it is, not because the laws of God command it, although they do, not because people in other lands wish it so. What? We must do it for the single and fundamental reason that it is the right thing to do. And I'm sorry I didn't do my Kennedy impression when I read that. Again, I'm really tired. I'm not up for it.
That was Dick Kennedy.
He was, the better of the whole clan. Yeah. When Republicans do all they can to limit our citizens' right to vote, they are not pro-life.
Oh my fucking God.
I mean, what does that have to do with it?
I'm going to make a grammatical correction here. He says, our citizens' right to vote, and he does apostrophe S, and it should be S apostrophe. Throw this in the trash.
Well, they only have one citizen they want to.
That's correct.
The Republicans are limiting our citizens' right to vote. The citizen that we all share.
It's one giant, massive blob.
Citizen. As John Lewis said, he's going to quote all the guys in this. The vote is precious. It is the most power, non-violent tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it.
Wait, so is there a more powerful violent tool?
Absolutely.
I love the implication in here of subtly reminding you, you do have more powerful tools though.
Wink, wink.
Have you considered burning down a bank? Okay.
Yeah, especially coming from John Lewis,
Yeah.
I mean, he became, a bit of a lib later in life, but
right.
Early on, he definitely knows there was some other options available.
Yeah, absolutely.
There were some maybe more powerful tools. But if we're not doing violence, the vote's our best one. But if we are, we can do a lot better.
Even that I don't really agree with, but I don't know, splitting hairs, I guess. Disputing the science of climate change to gamble the future of our grandchildren for the sake of business interests is not pro-life.
You're right. Okay. So who
oh my fucking God, dude. This guy, again, oversaw the privatization of Medicare or Medicaid in Iowa. So,
how much did that contribute to the pandemic?
Yeah, no shit.
Also, if you don't want business interests to downplay climate change, why the fuck are you in the Democratic Party?
Yeah, for real. Have you watched any of the debates?
Advancing, quote, religious freedom by arguing for a right to discriminate against our LGBTQ friends and neighbors is not pro-life. I'll note every time he says the phrase not pro-life, not is in bold.
Oh my God.
Pretty cool stylistic choice.
One thing I like is how original this is.
No one's ever written anything like this before.
I think by his definition of pro-life, you could reasonably argue that China has a more pro-life society than the United States. Not that he would ever make that argument, but...
Refusing to condemn the stain of racism and systemic racism is not pro-life. Neither is categorizing fights to end systemic racism as anti-police. Again, Democratic Party. I am interested, what does he mean when he says condemn the stain of racism and systemic racism? Are those two different things?
Do you think that he thinks they're two different things? I mean, actually?
Where does all these people learn the phrase systemic racism, and what the
It's
fuck
from
do they
Twitter. It's from fucking Twitter. Like,
They don't seem to understand.
they learned it from fucking like Tumblr teens trying to fucking out-woke each other on Twitter.
Oh, you think Jerry Foxhoven was on Tumblr?
No, it's like Tumblr teens that are on Twitter now, is what I said.
Yeah.
He has a Tupac Tumblr.
Yeah, yeah, the official.
It's just gifs of
He's still posting on it, yeah. I mean, the fact that he was like a part of the system in systemic racism, like, does he understand that? Does he grasp that
Exactly.
he...
They all just say systemic racism
Yeah.
because it's the thing that, or they'll be like dismantling systemic racism. It's like, you're in the fucking government. Like, what? Like, get to dismantling. That's you. Like,
Right.
what the fuck?
Mhm.
Minimizing the deaths of people due to COVID-19 because they are old or in nursing homes, nursing homes is not pro-life. Passing mental health reform without fully funding mental health services is not pro-life. Guys, I have a really excellent punchline once we get to the end of this article.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Placing every roadblock conceivable to destroy collective bargaining in order to ensure corporate profits at the expense of working men and women is not pro-life.
Well, I'm glad he said it.
Somebody had to.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats forget that one pretty frequently when they're trying to make these bullshit inane arguments.
Underfunding public education while cutting taxes is not pro-life. A quality education is the best way to help our most disadvantaged citizens achieve economic security.
No, it's not.
Horace Mann said, a human being is not attaining his full heights until he is educated. Natalie, what did you say is the best way to help our most disadvantaged citizens?
Money.
Yeah.
Oh, is it that easy?
Yes,
Is it really so easy?
it really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, like 90% of the
Money.
problems.
Just give people money. Stop
Yes.
this. Stop making us go to college.
Arguing for tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations when the minimum wage is so low that families end up below the poverty line even when working 2 full-time jobs is not pro-life. According to the Iowa Department of Public Health, the average amount of SNAP benefits, what we once called food stamps, do we not call them that anymore?
I thought they were two different things.
No, I mean, I guess it's because most people use the cards instead of actually.
I think
Oh, sure.
that like food stamps per se is different from SNAP. I think I'm not positive though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more called
I-
like EBT now since it's on the card.
Yeah, I think SNAP is like a supplemental thing that can just basically be used to purchase mostly like quote healthy foods. I think, but I'm not positive.
I mean, regardless, food stamps don't exist anymore. It's EBT cards.
Yeah,
So
right.
when I hear people say food stamps, I think it's usually just like a derogatory.
Yes.
Anyway, the average amount of SNAP benefits per person in Iowa is $109.95 per month. That's less than $4 a day per person or $121 per meal per person. It is not pro-life to expect our most vulnerable citizens to have less than $1.25 to spend per meal while regularly advocating cuts in SNAP funding.
It's
I
so
agree.
gross that this stuff isn't even discussed unless it's like a fucking clapback to Republicans.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
You know, it's like not even. I mean, obviously, I'm sure your punchline is great coming up.
The average woman's unadjusted annual salary in the United States is 82% of that of the average man's. Allowing the gender wage gap to continue is not pro-life.
I mean,
Many
Good
Americans... he's really dragging everything into this.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that seems like pretty unrelated.
yeah,
Also, that could be solved by checks too.
Yeah.
Should I just keep saying about everything that can be solved by checks?
Just give people the money to
I
live.
mean, it is true. Like, if people can't have like the fucking basic necessities they need to live covered, I mean, it's kind of hard to work on anything else or like
Absolutely. Yeah.
collect your like, you know.
I just saw this. There was a study in like Kenya, I think. They did a study that showed like people's well-being improved more. It was like basically unaffected by like psychotherapy, but was like significantly improved by just having more money. Like they just gave people money.
Yeah,
Right.
and like therapy can be so much more like successful if you have if you're living with the means to sort of stay alive while you're doing it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And you can discern like what is just me living in this horrific, brutal system, starving, and what is like trauma that I have that I need to.
I think therapy is useful, but it's really annoying the way it's always like a silver bullet for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where it's like that's your solution.
Costs, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, for real.
When they're like, "Why aren't men going to therapy?" It's like it's because it's fucking $250. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, that's why I stopped going to therapy. Is my fucking my therapist was out of network all of a sudden one year, and I was like, well, I guess we'll just stop the fucking 5 years of progress that we've made together. It was nice knowing you, Mike.
Stop telling people to go to therapy. It drives me crazy. Therapy is great, but no one can fucking afford it. Stop lecturing people like there's something wrong with them for not going.
Yeah. And also, it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't just fix all your problems immediately. It's not like people act like it's a panacea. It's a process. Exactly. It's something you have to like invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like telling an addict just to get clean.
That's like, also true.
There's just something that just pisses me off so bad about like lib femmes on Twitter tweeting at men that they need therapy. Why aren't you getting therapy? Like,
yeah, you need to clean your bathroom, lady. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to go to fucking therapy.
Jordan Peterson rules for women.
Damn, you live like this?
Lib femmes get less therapy challenge 2021. It's not good for you. I do know some people who have had just too much therapy.
I've never thought, I know exactly what you mean. That's very funny. I never really thought that, though.
Not like a lot, but I do know a couple of people who are like, you should really stop doing so much therapy.
Yeah.
If you need evidence for therapy not being a silver bullet, for men specifically, I mean, just look at Tony Soprano, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
Many Americans must choose between paying their rent and filling a prescription. Refusing to acknowledge that quality health care is a right for all citizens is not pro-life. So we just need to acknowledge that, is all? Okay. Refusing to acknowledge that quality health care is a right for all citizens. Acknowledge. Once we've acknowledged it, we can be sufficiently pro-life.
We don't need to do anything else.
You just gotta say it and acknowledge
shoot
it.
off the tweet that calls it a human right.
Yep.
The Joe Biden method.
No follow-up.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if Democrats actually pushed, like, half of those ideas, like, half as hard as they pushed the cultural narratives about, you know, all of this shit, you could actually persuade these people. But you don't persuade them by just telling them, like, well, actually, you're not pro-life. Like, it's just so silly.
Yeah. And finally, it is not pro-life to advocate that the government should interfere with a family's freedom to plan their own family while refusing to provide basic financial assistance, quality preschool, and other supportive social services when a family decides to bring a child into the world. Kind of redundant and kind of a long sentence, Jerry.
Well, and it's kind of the thing of like, well, you do still have to have abortion no matter what, like, you know.
You're a hypocrite, Jerry.
You do still need to be that available no matter how good the childcare system is.
Yeah, and that's something people have a hard time with that because they're just so like eked out by abortion, like it's physical reality. But like, yeah, I mean, no matter how you feel about it, it has to be available.
So like, we will make it, the Liz Brunick, we will make it extinct by providing dope childcare is like, I mean, it's like great and I love the vision, but there are still lots of people who should get them, no matter, like, even if it would be, you know, much easier and less of a burden to raise a child than now. Because what if you just don't fucking want to?
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much money you have, you just don't want to. So.
And he ends this with, maybe someday the Republican Party will become pro-life in the fullest sense of the term.
No.
Is that the punchline?
Until that time, I am proud to call myself a Democrat. That's his punchline, but I have I have an additional. So, I mean, all the stuff he says in this, like pretty much all of it is like, yes, I agree, true. But the fact that it's in the context of like promoting the Democratic Party, they don't like meaningfully pursue most of the shit that he's bringing up here. And the fact that it's coming from Jerry Foxhoven. So here's my punchline. Again, this Bleeding Heartland piece came out on November 30th. And then on December 2nd, so just a few days later, in Iowa Capital Dispatch, an article was published by Clark Kaufman, and it's titled, "Lawsuit Claims Reynolds Staff AG's Office Approved Sexual Arousal Experiments at Glenwood."
Whip ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
And let me just Control F Foxhoven. We've got 3 results here. I'm skipping like a lot of the details here, but I mean the headline gives you pretty much what you need to know. Glenwood is like an assisted living facility for mentally disabled people. It's a state-run care facility. And here's where Foxhoven's name first comes up. The petition in the case cites Glenwood staff meeting minutes from 2018, alleging those minutes indicate the experiments were discussed and approved by the highest levels of Iowa state government. The lawsuit claims the former director of the Iowa Department of Human Services, Jerry Foxhoven, discussed and approved the research with one of his top administrators at the time, Rick Schultz. The two then made plans to present the program to the governor's office, according to the lawsuit. So he's saying all this stuff like everyone's, rights need to be defended regardless of their ethnicity, religion.
Unless
we can make money by using them as guinea pigs.
It goes even further than that, too,
Unless
because there were, like...
my sexual arousal experiments.
That's, like, the sensational part, but, like, there's, like, an excess of deaths at that facility. There was also, like, abuse going on at the Iowa, like, Boys Center or whatever it's called. I'm not sure what it's called, but there was, like, multiple issues at facilities that he had authority over.
Punishment.
Yeah, there was a bunch of just horrible, like, staff morale, just terrible, just, like...
it's like
horrible.
Like Unit 731, but it's Iowa nice.
I don't know about that, but it's really bad. Yeah, and then the thing is, like, Jerry Foxhoven oversaw a bunch of horrible things that happened, and then Kim Reynolds used that as justification for firing it. But given her response to COVID, I think that's a PR reason. There's a couple other things that's come out about Jerry. During, like I said, Iowa privatized Medicaid, there was like multiple insurers who pulled out of it because the program was so fucked up. And he said some things about it, I think publicly, kind of casting doubt on it. And then also what he said, the real reason that he got fired, according to him, is that he was told to use DHS funds to pay for one of Reynolds' staffers.
Yes.
Which sounds very, very familiar because she just did the exact same thing with COVID relief funds.
Exactly.
Including her, like, spokesperson, like her highest political aides to her. And she's saying, like, oh, COVID relief funds can be used for staff salaries. And, like, she's saying that, like, these people put in extra work.
Computer systems, too.
Yeah, there was that, too. But, yeah, specifically, like, they just basically came out of nowhere and, like, took money out of, like, COVID relief funds and just to pay their staff, which, of course, have been bungling the fucking COVID response in the state. It's, like, one of the top 3 worst responses, I'm sure. There's a big article in the Atlantic about it. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think the only place worse than us is the one who hosted fucking Sturgis.
Yeah.
That's our boys in South Dakota.
Yeah, shout out John and Matt.
I will give just a little bit of information from this article just to, like, make it clear what this is about. The lawsuit, it's a whistleblower lawsuit by 6 former employees of the Glenwood Resource Center seeking more than $10 million in damages from the state, claiming the wrongful discharge of the plaintiffs contributed to a drastic increase in patient deaths at the home. The plaintiffs in the case alleged they were ousted in retaliation for the concerns they expressed about the former Glenwood superintendent's efforts to alter the treatment plans of the profoundly disabled residents of the Western Iowa home and use them as, quote, guinea pigs in experiments related to sexual arousal.
Jesus, there's like
pretty heinous shit.
Very creepy.
It's like the most deviant fucking shit you could possibly do.
Yeah, and they say they have meeting minutes like with Jerry Foxhoven talking about and approving these plans, and
it reminds me of the like, are you taking fucking notes during a fucking criminal conspiracy thing from The Wire?
Yeah, but he's a pro-life Democrat.
I've never I don't understand what they were intending to use, what studies for what purpose. It just is very strange.
Yeah, I mean, there's some shit about the person that was in charge of running these experiments and stuff. But I mean, I don't think we need to get super details.
No,
here.
I agree. I'm just it just is so fucking creepy.
I get what you're saying, but please don't read anything like that.
Yeah.
They did sexual arousal experiments on profoundly disabled people.
Right.
Against, I mean, you can't really get consent for that.
Right.
And they fired people who had concerns over it, and then they were short on staff, and a bunch of people died because we're in a pandemic.
I just can't imagine how such a thing would be justified.
So what was their reasoning for this?
Right.
That's the thing that I obviously it's all horrible, but to me that's who commissioned this? Who needed this data?
Yeah, there's a lot maybe there'll be more that comes out. Because it's
I assume they were able to get some sort of research grant, to conduct this.
Fucking Tuskegee ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's real Nazi doctor shit.
Yeah.
We were actually just talking about I pulled up the Wikipedia article for unethical human experimentation in the United States. Which is a very long and interesting subject. If you're so inclined.
Yeah, if you
I
really
wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
Evan.
Yeah.
I am not so inclined.
Yeah.
If you really want to dig into the evil of the United States, there it is.
If you weren't convinced already.
Yeah. So that's what I have prepared for today. You guys have any further thoughts you'd like to contribute to those two topics?
Nah.
How much longer you want to talk for, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I think we painted a pretty clear picture of what's going on for the listeners.
Yeah, I think we did our duty. I do want to acknowledge, on the show, recorded audio-wise, why we were not making the show for a month. I posted on our Patreon. It's a free post, so anyone can read it. But our friend Hannah Colton committed suicide on November 10th last month. The four of us, we went to the same high school. Most of the people involved with our show all went to Washington High School in Cedar Rapids, and Hannah was also a student there and was a huge, just extremely active person in all sorts of extracurricular activities, academic stuff. Basically, she was everywhere all the time and friends with everyone. Just an extremely nice and smart, productive, motivated person. And as an adult, she got into radio journalism. She moved to Alaska for a couple years, and then for the last few years, she lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She was the news director for KUNM, which is a college radio station at the University of New Mexico. And basically all of her reporting was extremely serious. She had similar ideological commitments and beliefs that we do on the show, but because of her job, she was a lot more professional and serious about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to see more of it all the time.
Yeah, I specifically remember seeing her reporting about the protests in New Mexico and she live streams, which I'm sure, they're horrible, obviously.
Yeah, the last time that we interacted, because we were close, but not every day close. We weren't constantly talking to each other, but we did try to spend time together every time we were near each other, when she visited home, or in February when I drove through Albuquerque. We stayed at her place. But the last time I interacted with her was when she was live streaming from a BLM protest that had been kind of counter-protested and overrun by a bunch of pissed off white people. And she was just constantly in the middle of that stuff. The horrible stuff that we discussed briefly in that Foxhoven article, she was constantly immersed in that and trying to report on it, trying to make people care about it. And I guess, it just was too much.
There seems to be, when you do something like we do, we do this for fun. This is something that we get together and we, these relatively horrible things that we talk about. And we kind of find a way to laugh at him, I guess. But not everyone's sort of afforded that luxury, especially if it's, the line of work that you're in, to be very serious about it. And I can't imagine having to walk that line where you have to be invested in this and you have to let it hit you with full force. Just the toll that sort of thing would take on a person after a while.
Yeah. So that happened, and I felt like I wasn't really able to speak into a microphone or really do anything for a few weeks. I spent the month pretty much checked out of everything because it's hard not to feel just completely hopeless after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I think that it's especially been put into. I mean, a lot of people are feeling that way, and especially like right now. And it's I don't know what the solution is because
there's not one. I mean, you have to find something to bury yourself in. I mean, you guys know me. Like, I bury myself in work. Like, I bury myself in like playing video games for 5 hours a day when I'm not working. Like you can't, like, I don't know how we can expect any person to like that's what you do, is you don't escape it. Like, that's what you live in, is that world. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, like, she was like one of the nicest people I've ever known.
Oh God,
like,
yeah.
Extremely motivated and productive, and like, if she's going out that way, like, how the fuck am I like, how is anybody supposed to be able to deal with this? But here I am. Still alive a month later, I guess.
And we're very glad you are.
Well,
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad everyone is alive.
Yeah,
it's a good start.
I miss doing the podcast. I mean, I understand
Absolutely, yeah.
why you had to take some time off and why you wouldn't want to. I mean, because like Chuck said, it's like even just doing this, like even like we're all, I think, we read doom scrolling Twitter, like
Yeah,
Chuck
definitely.
said. So like we're
all
all plugged into it as well, but also it's not something that we do for
No,
work.
we don't carry the weight of it around. Like,
Right.
we
And
do, but
it's-
not like that.
Right. And it's like you can't feel guilty for that, I don't think. You just got to find what works for you and what you can do and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Okay, well, I think we've acknowledged that. I do have so Hannah came on my music radio show in summer 2019. So I have like a 2.5 hour recording of her talking with me and a friend of the show, David Clare. So I listened to that the other day, just kind of remembering a nice time that we had together. And I cut out a little clip from that where I was talking to her about weird dreams that I've been having recently. And then she kind of tells me like what she thinks is going on in my subconscious as a result of those dreams. And I think it's kind of a revealing clip about like who she was as a person, like what she was thinking about and how she treated her friends. So I'll put that, I'll probably put a little bit of music here, and then I'll put that at the very end. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to our Patreon subscribers for continuing to support the show. I know we didn't put out anything for a full month, and most of the people stayed subscribed, so that's very, very nice of you to stick it out. We will be putting out more content soon. I'm planning on doing some research for episodes entirely focused on a couple of our outgoing congressmen, Steve King and Dave Loebsack.
Yeah.
Dave Loebsack is a very boring person, so we may have to do one episode with both of them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the idea, I like forgot. I like Dave Loebsack. I forgot that he was already in that seat. Like we've talked about that race like multiple times, and we've like joke about Dave Loebsack frequently.
Yeah.
But like I forgot he actually is a sitting member of Congress.
Yeah, he's still got about a month. Yeah.
Laughlin outro for them. Make like a little.
Like I did with the John Delaney thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll plan on it. Okay, so we've got more stuff coming. I should be able to produce podcasts more effectively now.
Stella and I are going to be doing a recording tomorrow all about first ladies.
Yeah, it's been a while since we
Ooh.
had one of those.
To hear the Rock Art Caucus lady talk about the various female ghouls who are our overlords and all the bullshit decor projects they do.
Just based on the type of energy I think this one's going to have, I think that if you're listening to this, you're definitely not going to want to miss the next episode of their segment, of their program.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's
about the Melania meat trees.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
I miss Melania so much, you guys. Jill Biden is bullshit. Canceled. I love Melania. Melania is just a fucking cold Slavic monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tall and hot and hates humanity and hates doing any of this and like attempts to just stay in her room all the time. And when they haul her out to do shit, she like writes "Be Best" in a crayon and decor made of piles of meat. I just love her.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to reboot the Patreon.
Listen, fuck Jill Biden. Fuck it. And they're going to try and tell us she's a fucking doctor. Fuck that. No. Melania all the way.
Melania is a real doctor.
Yes.
Melania is the doctor of Ice Queen. Love it. Totally soulless. Like, she's not faking it. She's not going out there telling you she cares about feeding school children or keeping kids off drugs. She's just like, fuck you. This is about bullying. All I do is bully. But
yeah, more bullying in the schools, actually.
More bullying in the schools, scarier decations, and then I quit doing decorations.
It's like all the Krampus decorations in the White House.
Scary death hallway, then quit. I'm bored.
There's no Santa where I come from, only Krampus who eats children that are naughty. No presents.
All right, well, until next time, stay alive, everybody, and be best.
Be best.
I've been having a lot of weird dreams lately, by the way. Like, I mostly don't remember dreams, but, like, in the past few weeks, I've just been having super vivid and, like, distressing dreams.
Is there any theme?
Not really.
This is a dream show now.
Like, the other night, I had a dream that my mom wanted to have another kid, and I was like, listen, I'm 30. I don't think this is a good idea.
Did you tell Vicky about that?
I haven't yet. I mean, I would not look. I don't think it's physically a reality at this point.
I mean, there's always adoption.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. And then I had a dream that, like, I was working at some sort of event and there were other staff members working this event that I didn't really know, but, like, I was working with them. And, like, throughout this event, I discovered that they were planning, like, this terrorist event with a bomb. And I was, like, implicated in it because I was working with them. But I didn't know, like, how I could affect the situation in any way. Very weird.
That's, like, too real. Not that people you know are involved in a terrorist attack planning mission, but just, like, you probably do work a lot of events with people you sort of don't know.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, so that part is, like, direct from the data.
Yeah, I guess my subconscious is, like, telling me, you don't know these people, you can't trust them.
But no, the not trusting part is, like, just the feeling, the anxiety of being a part of systems that you feel are, like, unjust or, like, not doing right,
the dream,
which is so real for all of us, probably.
Yeah. The absurdity of the dream is maybe pointing out the absurdity of that feeling and that maybe people can be trusted.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I've worked so many events like that before, and no one has ever brought a bomb. So
it's not that it's never happened, but
yeah, but it's probably not going to happen to me. Yeah.